Listeners beware, you're in for a scare.
Ooh, spooky. Howdy, folks. I'm Zack.
And I'm Meg.
And guys, it was the mirror. It did it.
Yeah, this week we read Let's Get Invisible. But first off, how was your spooky week?
It hasn't really started yet. I've packed and ready to go to Big Bear, so by the time you hear this, lovely folks, I will be there, and I will be fist fighting Bigfoot. He's going to try to catch these hands with his big-ass feet.
That's a really strange mental image. I'm imagining sort of like a capoeira fight where you're punching and he's kicking.
If you want to animate that, I'd be so happy.
I would love to do that. Just like send me a picture of your face that I can put on like an animated body.
Other than that, I got to see it, and that was...
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers. Even though, like, I know what happens because I've seen the original one.
Oh, this one's so much better.
I mean, yeah.
So I went on a Thursday at my theater, and we were like, "Hey, we're gonna get up there 30 minutes early." We had to sit in the front. It was that packed. Like,
oh,
I've never
amazing!
had to sit. The last time I sat in front for a movie on that time was for the Avengers, the first one.
Wow.
I had so much fun. Clowns don't scare me the entire time. I was just laughing my ass off.
I'm the same. Mimes I can go either way on, but clowns, not scary.
Oh no, like this entire movie was just hilarious. And
I've heard the special effects are pretty good.
oh my god, like every time Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise was on screen, it was just like he was like creepy funny. He was not Tim Curry funny, but like I couldn't take my eyes off of him. It was that amazing. All the kid actors were really good. They sounded like real kids, and it was like...
A lot of the Stranger Things kids are in that, right?
It was just the one guy that plays Will.
Oh, I thought it was the other one.
No.
I thought it was like two of them.
Unless I'm just completely blind. But I liked it. It was so much fun. It wasn't really a scary movie, that's all I'm going to say, except... the beginning with Georgie is one of the best scenes I've seen in a very long time.
Oof, no spoilers here.
I'm not giving you any spoilers.
Isn't it crazy how many adaptations Stephen King has coming out this year?
Yeah, no, like, what is it? Last month it was Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, It, Gerald's Game.
And then I think next week Gerald's Game's coming out.
Yeah, Gerald's Game. And then there's the TV show that he's got.
Yeah, Castle Rock, which is weird because Bill Skarsgård is also in that.
He's like Stephen King's boy now.
Stephen King's just like, I was like, half of the stuff I made, I was just high on coke, but people are making these into movies, then I'm making a lot of money. Next, he's gonna have a book from the perspective of the guy that hit him with a car. It's gonna be the perspective of that guy. I'd actually probably read that book. Speaking of that, Meg, how was your spooky week?
Well, I got the audiobook of the two Five Nights at Freddy's books.
Oh my god, I haven't read any of those.
They're actually pretty good for like young adult suspense science fiction based on a video game. They're actually not bad. Like, I am not a fan of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Like, the gameplay itself I don't really like because it's really just it's the gritty reboot of a Jack in the Box, because the whole thing is you're waiting for something to jump out and go ooga booga. Yeah. And but the books are actually quite good. I'm always like I'm really interested in the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, with like the whole
purple guy,
like with the Springtrap Killer and Afton Robotics and all of that cool stuff. So the books really appeal to me more than the games did, and they're pretty good.
That's kind of like with me and the Gears of War books. Like, I love the Gears of War books. The games themselves are really badly written, but those books are amazing. Oh my god.
And also, I've been playing The Sims again, and I just downloaded the Vampire expansion pack.
Oh no.
So I can't wait to get started on that as soon as we finish recording. Oh yeah, I'm gonna, like, my goal is gonna be turn the entire town into vampires.
Is this gonna be like the Lost Boys?
Pretty much. Yep. Oh, and also, in other spooky news, I finally caved and looked up a recipe on how to make my own pumpkin spice at home. So this morning, I had a beautiful pumpkin spice latte.
So I feel like the thing that I pictured in my head was just you, like almost like a drug lab, Meg, that you've just like concocted like crystal meth pumpkin spice.
They said we were mad. They said we couldn't do it. But I finally did it. I made pumpkin spice.
Did you play God?
No, because making pumpkin spice at home is like the only option that I have, because we only have 2 Starbucks here, and also it's spring.
Oh my god. But yeah, they literally just had an open sign that says PSL's in. I was just like, my basicness is coming out.
You bloody Yanks take pumpkin spice for granted, because in America it's like, pumpkin spice is really naff. It's like, oh, pumpkin spice, you're so basic. Oh, you're such a white girl, you're drinking pumpkin spice. But here, pumpkin spice is like, this magical thing. It's like, I went to America and I tried pumpkin spice, and everybody else is like, oh, tell me more.
So wait, Meg, what you're telling me, this is the equivalent of like Europeans getting pepper?
It's like when the British went to India. Anyway, let's talk about this bloody book.
Let's get visible.
Invisible.
Wanna get visible. This book was
invisible.
Interesting.
I liked it probably more than you did. I don't know.
It was much better than some of the other books that I've read.
It's way more like low key than a lot of the other Goosebumps books.
So the cover, I want to say, is it Tim Jacobus? I think.
Well, your one is Tim Jacobus, I think. Mine is not. So you describe your cover.
So mine is like this kid in like very like neon orange like sweatshirt, and like he has his hands out. And there's a mirror in the front, and in the mirror, he's disappearing. Oh, no. And that's the whole cover.
My cover is just a slightly more, like, exciting and dynamic version of your cover. So we've got, like, sort of a green-tinted attic, kid standing in front of the mirror, and his whole head is gone, and he's turning away from the mirror, and he's got his hand up in like, shock, like, what? My head's missing? And he's disappearing. And I really like it. It's framed really well. It's a very good artwork. And then I just noticed now there's 2 rats in the background looking on in surprise, which I think is a very funny...
Ratical.
Yeah, I think that's a very funny touch.
For mine, it's kind of like if somebody put someone in front of a green screen, and then you put like the opacity slightly down.
Like somebody standing in front of the green screen with green pants on, and they get keyed out.
Max, you're an idiot. Don't wear... I've seen people wear green to green screen events, and it's the funniest thing in my entire existence. Have you ever seen like the weatherman when he dresses up in like in a green morph suit?
I did see that
with the skeleton. Like, that's clever, at least.
That was great. That was fantastic.
But Meg, the pun on the front is, "Now you see him, now you don't."
And on the back, we've got disappearances can be deadly.
I think the front is much better than the back.
That doesn't make any sense. The back.
I guess they can be if like Max ends up on like a milk crate. Have you seen this person?
Have you seen this child? Oh, that got dark.
It was the mirror. The mirror is what made him disappear.
Unlike the camera in Say Cheese and Die, they don't really like faff around with, but what if it was the camera? But what if it wasn't the camera? It's just like straight up, oh, cool, this mirror makes us invisible.
And they never explain why the mirror is magical.
It's magic. Like, you don't need to explain that.
I want it explained. I'm a nerd. I
like my magic realism. I like when they don't explain it, because then you can just get straight into the thing.
On Max's birthday, he finds a sort of magic mirror in the attic. It makes him become invisible. So Max and his friends start playing, "Now you see me, now you don't." Until Max realizes he's losing control, staying invisible a little too long, having a harder and harder time coming back. Getting invisible is turning into a very dangerous game. Next time Max gets invisible, will it be forever?
Da da da!
Crackle, crackle. Oh my god, there's an earthquake.
The thing that appeals to me about this book is that it's got like this sort of one ring of power. I'm always into stories where there's like an artifact that gives you some kind of power, but like there's an insane like drawback to it.
Is it funny that I was thinking of when they do invisible, I thought of like the weird wavy effects in like Lord of the Rings when Frodo or Bilbo puts on the ring of power?
I feel that. Like, I can see it. But I'm a huge fan of The Mask, both the comics and the movie. And in the comics, the mask is like you put it on and you get all of these powers. You can't die. You can do whatever you want, but you start to go insane the longer you wear it. And I like stuff like that, where it's like, we're gonna give you all these powers, but at a huge cost to you personally.
Yes, it's just like the book I literally just finished reading before we started recording, Firestarter.
By Stephen King?
Yeah, by Stephen King. It was so good.
Everything is Stephen King on this show.
If Stephen King wants to come on this show, he can more than welcome to.
I mean, I'd like to hear what his opinions on R.L. Stein are.
Well, he says that R.L. Stein is a training bra to him, so...
Yeah. True.
I mean, Stephen King, if you want to come on the show, please, we'd love to have you on. I mean, if I want to, I could fly down to Maine just to meet you. So, Meg, how does this book open up?
So it opens up with a very, like, Ebony Darkness Raven Dementia way description of this kid's hair. I'm gonna read this out. Well, so it starts off with, I went invisible for the first time on my 12th birthday. And then he says, it was this dog's fault somehow. And then he's describing getting ready and brushing his hair, and he goes, I just happen to have great hair. It's very thick and a sort of golden brown and just a little bit wavy. My hair is my best feature. And all I could think of was, I have long, straight black hair that goes down to my mid-back with purple streaks and red tips. And I have blue eyes like limpid tears. And people tell me I look like Amy Lee.
I am the Prince of Darkness. I love my hair. That's, gross. Oh, God. Ew. But, it's not as annoying as his brother Noah.
AKA Lefty.
Yeah, his street name is Lefty.
That's what they call him on the streets.
Why is he called Lefty, Meg?
Because he's the only left-hander in the family.
I mean, is being left-handed super rare? My grandfather's left-handed, isn't it like...
It's incredibly rare. I only know 2 left-handed people in my entire life.
Like, my mom and my grandfather are... left-handed.
My brother-in-law is left-handed, and my friend Brittany is left-handed, and literally those are the only 2 left-handed people I've ever met.
Yeah, they're gonna rule the world, because apparently they're smarter than right-handed people.
I think that's fake news.
I guess maybe because they have to, really think about, because everything is... If you think about it, our entire world is built for right-handed people. All the doors are right-handed.
I was thinking about this today. I pulled my accordion out, and I was practicing a little bit. And I accidentally pulled it out of the box upside down, and I thought to myself, if I was left-handed, would I have to learn how to play the accordion backwards?
I mean, Jimi Hendrix was left-handed, and he played a right-handed guitar.
Same with Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, I mean, this is 93, so that's relevant.
He wasn't dead in 93, was it? He died in 94, right?
I don't know. Let's ask Courtney Love.
She knows. She knows what happened. Keep your conspiracy theories out of our good Goosebumps podcast, said every listener at the same time.
But Courtney Love, if you do want to come on our podcast and talk about Kurt Cobain, I mean, we're not going to stop you.
I love that we're just, getting, increasingly more tenuously related celebrities that we want to have on the show. Eventually it'll just be, former President Bill Clinton. You were in office when the Goosebumps book were popular. What do you think? I like that it opens up with him doing his hair in the mirror, because that's whoa, foreshadowing!
Whoa! But, so it starts off on Max's birthday. He's turning a big boy age of 12 years old. Not quite 13, but, his brother Lefty is just being a butthead. He's throwing balls.
He always has to be tossing a ball around or drumming his hands on the table or hitting something or running around or falling down or leaping onto things or wrestling with me. You get the idea. Actual quote from the book, and I love it.
Wow, that's as much ADHD as I am.
And me!
So his friends are coming over, his friends Aaron, another girl,
friends,
and the most radical person in the whole group. I love this guy. He's my favorite character. Zack.
Of course he's your favorite character.
No, he's not my favorite character in this book, as you'll find out later on.
He brought him some pre-loved X-Force comics as a birthday present, so he's a good friend.
Yes. Okay, this is weird, and how, they spelled the name finally correctly, so I was happy with my life.
Yeah, it's Z-A-C-K. It's not Z-A-C-H. Like the protagonist of that other book that we won't mention.
No, but Meg, what is the coolest thing about Zack? What is his most distinct feature?
He's got a frickin' Skrillex haircut.
Yeah, so he has it shaved on the side and long and wavy. This is the 90s. This is pretty, this is like NASA. He is now, drinking Tang
This
on
is very,
Mars.
like, R.L. Stein. We already have proved multiple times that R.L. Stein invented leggings as pants with a big t-shirt as a look. He also invented the Skrillex haircut.
He actually invented Skrillex. He actually
I
wrote
cannot believe that R.L. Stein invented Skrillex.
like he just wrote him into existence on his magical typewriter.
Yep, he did. Truth.
Or no, wait. So Skrillex was born in the 80s, so this would have been the perfect time. Like he read that, he just thought, Zach, that's a cool name, and that's a cool haircut.
That's a rad haircut, man. Anyway.
Oh, so there we go. We figured it out. Skrillex, so if you ever want to be on this show, please.
God! Welcome to Nightmare on Fear Street, the show where Zach just asks celebrities to come on the show.
Yeah, no, come on. Let's get on the show.
So anyway, it was going to be a great party, but then it started raining right before everybody showed up, and they were going to play some backyard volleyball. This sucks. This is totally unready cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was also acid rain, so they really couldn't go outside. So,
Is that a California reference?
Yeah, dude, okay, Meg, we have smog days. We don't have, like, earthquake days or blizzard days. We used to have smog days because we were afraid that there'd be acid rain.
I can believe that because the only time I've been to LA, like small memories of LA, because I really only went there as like a stopover. And a couple of times my parents took me to Disneyland and Universal Studios. And pretty much all I remember about LA is that the sky was green when I went there.
Oh yeah, no, if you ever go up towards the Hollywood sign, you can just see where the smog ends and the clear sky begins. It's that. It's gotten much better over the years, but I can remember how like it was like, oh, it's not that hazy this morning. Like, what? It's not smoggy? But no, this book takes place in Illinois because they go to Springfield.
Oh, but there's a Springfield in every state, right?
I'm just saying it's Illinois, just because we haven't had a Midwestern town yet, and these guys are pretty white as sour cream.
What about Ohio? Isn't Ohio in the Midwest? We've had a couple in Ohio.
No, we haven't yet. I don't think we have any. We've had more LA and California.
I think we had one in Michigan. Definitely. One of them was Michigan.
I think it was, Say Cheese and Die. I don't, I just need to have, like, a map in my room.
Say Cheese and Die was Michigan. We need to get a map of the United States and, like, plot every Goosebumps book by location.
We're gonna get to do that, so if any listeners want to make that, please, we'd love to have this.
We'll sell it as a tapestry on my Redbubble store.
Like, I'm just thinking, like, you actually, like, knit this tapestry. Like, it's like a royal tap. Oh, my God. Let's do it.
I would.
So...
Patreon prize, if you give us $100, we'll make you a map. A hand-sewn tapestry.
Yeah, let's do it. But Meg, you forgot the most important part. Max really wants to watch the Terminator video.
Every kid in every Goosebumps book wants to watch Terminator. What is R.L. Stein's thing for Terminator? Was he getting money from the studio that made Terminator?
No, because he said the Terminator video. He didn't say Terminator 2, Judgment Day, directed by James Cameron. Get it now on VHS.
Yeah, but like, there's so many of these books, the kids will be like, I'm gonna go watch Terminator now. You know, like, R.L. Stein loves Terminator.
Well, to be fair, Terminator is both Terminator 1 and 2 are pretty kick-ass movies. Never watched Genesis. Maybe if you're like really drunk or really high, you could watch Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, but I don't advise it.
Come to think of it, I'm remembering now, my friend Reese's 21st, he had Terminator on in the background while everybody was doing stuff. Like, so maybe it's not entirely unrealistic that you'd put Terminator on at a party.
The last time I had a birthday party, we watched Cannibal the Musical. So...
Good. I'm glad you watched Cannibal the Musical.
Oh, we watched a bunch of weird stuff. Like, I watched that, and then we also watched Aliens, and this one movie called Hands of Steel. Oh my god. Okay, so it's about... oh my god, I like how I'm going to go on this tangent, but sums up. It's about the cyborg who is an assassin who decides, I don't want to be an assassin anymore, and I want to arm wrestle people.
That sounds great.
It's amazing.
Anyway, so chapter 1 ends with our classic Goosebumps cliffhanger fake-out ending. The linen closet door swung open, and with a deafening howl, a dark figure leapt out at us. And then in chapter 2, Lefty, stop kidding around. That's not funny. And then Lefty takes his mask off and goes, good goofs, guys. I really got you.
It was me all along.
Every single time. So, with nothing to do, because of the rain, they go up to the attic.
Yeah, they go up, like, hey, let's play with my old grandparents' stuff, because that would be so raddy cool.
I mean, my attic is pretty cool.
We don't have attics. I barely have a garage.
We have an attic, but we got it, like...
Do you have a magical mirror in there?
I've mentioned this before. I've got a full-length mirror that is built into the wall, and if you push on it, it opens up. And that is how you get into the attic from my room.
See, that's so cool. Like, why don't you turn that into, like, a podcasting studio? That would be so... Oh, my God.
Because then where would we keep all of our suitcases and old Christmas decorations?
The garage?
The garage is for cars. We don't have a lot of room in the garage.
Our entire garage is filled with stuff. We park our cars in our driveway.
I swear, this is like the one family in the world where we actually use the garage for cars. Because my sister has turned her garage into a game room. And like most of my friends, their garages are so full of stuff that they can't use them. But we actually put the cars in the garage. And some people don't even have garages.
This is just awful and wrong. Much like when Whitney, while they're up there, starts sniffing and scratching at a little door.
The dog's name is Whitey, by the way.
I thought it was Whitney.
Why would a male dog be named Whitney?
I don't know. No, like when I saw this little door, I was just thinking about, is this like, this is legitimately Coraline right now. So they go through like the little door, and there's a mirror there, Meg.
A spooky mirror. Okay, fun fact, I also have a little door in my attic, but it doesn't go to anywhere magical. It just goes into, like, the crawl space where all the ducting is, so...
I thought it goes to another room. Like, you just come out into your other house and your parents have, like, buttons for eyes.
I tested. I looked. You don't think I looked? Because I looked. I looked, Zach. I was waiting. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen, Zach.
I'm so sorry. So Max looks into the mirror, and you know what he sees, Meg?
What does he see? Himself?
Yeah, he sees himself shaking hands with Dumbledore.
He sees himself holding the Philosopher's Stone.
He just won the House Cup. So, no, there's nothing in the mirror. And it's like this weird, dusty old mirror. It looks kind of like old and Victorian, like, except it has...
And it's got a bulb in it? I couldn't get... Was the bulb hanging over it, or was the bulb actually built into the mirror?
I think it was built, like, it's kind of like it has, like, a hood, and it's kind of slightly built into it.
So it's sort of like somebody was trying to make one of those vanity mirrors with all the lights around it, but they gave up after the first bulb.
Yeah, because it was too hard. So, not Whitney.
Whitey.
I'm just going to keep calling her Whitney. It was like Aaron or one of the other... I can't remember. There's another girl.
There's April and there's...
Aaron.
There's Aaron and April, and isn't there Deborah?
No.
Oh, they think Deborah's gonna come, but Deborah doesn't come.
No, because she's a flake, like always. Thanks, Deborah.
Bloody Deborah, what's she like?
But yeah, so they turn on the light, and Max goes invisible. They don't know where he went, because the light is so bright. It's super scary and creepy, and they turn off the light, and Max appears again. They're like, whoa, what happened? Where'd you go? I think maybe the light did something. No, that didn't work. Let's turn it on again. So they turn it on again, and Max goes invisible again, and he's just like, oh my God, I'm invisible. Like, like they're like Muppets screaming.
And, but he doesn't believe it at first. They're like, you're invisible. And he's like, nah, I'm not. Nah, it's fine. I'm not invisible. You guys are doing a real good goof, but I'm not invisible. And they're like, no, we're serious. How would you not notice that you were invisible?
I don't know. Meg, have you ever been invisible?
Like, how would you not immediately notice, because you can always sort of see your nose.
Well, maybe, like, if you, like, looked at your hands, remember it was also, like, really, really bright, like, it was like God coming after him.
You know, if you really wanted to be invisible, everything about you would have to be invisible except for your eyeballs, because your eyeballs would not be able to see anything if the light was just going through it.
Yes, I think this is the time where I'm probably going to ask Chris if he'd want to explain the science of invisibility, because...
And fun fact, let me just plug my personal project. I have a comic, and one of the characters in the comic, the boss of the two main characters, is an invisible man, but he is just eyeballs, because I thought it would be really funny if he was just a pair of eyeballs.
So he comes back, and it's like, how long was I gone for? About 2 minutes? Okay, then left. He's like, let me try. He goes in. 2 minutes have passed. 3 minutes. 5 minutes. And like, okay,
and when you say he goes in, he's going into like the mirror dimension, right?
No, he's like going into like the turning invisible.
Because, like, there is... I'm getting ahead of myself, because there is, like, a mirror... Like, the idea of a mirror dimension that's introduced later in the book.
Yeah, no, but, like, they're going invisible. They're like, playing with powers they do not understand.
Yeah.
So, after 5 minutes, he comes back, like, Max is like, I bet I can beat this record. Like, he's kind of getting kind of scared, Like, I'll do it. And it's like, Zach, when I say let me back in, let me, like, pull me back in. And it goes to about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You start saying, Zach, pull me back in.
So when you turn the light, okay, so to explain how the mirror works, you turn the light off and you turn it back on and you become invisible, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do the same thing again and it makes you visible.
Yeah, except every time you do it, you feel a little weird, like you become super lightheaded and like everyone starts to like slowly like dissipate.
Yeah.
And Zach's like, pull me back in. And Zach's like, radical. And he does it after like a little bit and Zach's like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is stupid. Everyone, let's get out of here because my mom's coming back. And they go downstairs. Our mom's pissed. Except Max keeps hearing whispering of
Max. It just makes me think of Rick and Morty where Jerry's at the apartment block and he's standing there and then the wind blows and you can just faintly hear someone going, loser.
Oh yeah, and then like the dog comes and like eats his food.
No, it eats his like bills or something, and he goes, "This is no value to you. It only has value to me." It's almost as if the suffering of like my own suffering is your nourishment, and the dog nods.
So they come back the next day, and like want to see this mirror, and he's like, "No, we're not going to go up there. Fine, you guys can come back another day." So that night, Max is still getting like disturbed about this mirror. So like, I'm gonna go up there in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. and I'm gonna try doing this mirror one more time. So he goes up there, and he's about to try on the mirror when he sees a pair of eyeballs floating. Bum bum bum.
Oh no, I was right.
No, it was just Lefty behind him.
Oh, holding up a pair of fake eyeballs. Yep.
It's not holding up. Like you just thought he just looked too fast.
Oh no, he's not. Okay. Here we go. I cried out as I saw 2 eyes down low in the mirror. 2 eyes staring out at me. My breath caught in my throat. I peered down into the reflection. The 2 dark eyes peered up at me. Dark and evil eyes. Uttering a cry of panic, I turned away from the mirror. Lefty! I cried. My voice came out shrill and tight. Oh, I did that wrong.
Lefty!
Lefty! Yeah, there we go. That's it. Sometimes I wish I could just pound him. Me too, Max. Lefty's annoying all of us.
Me too. Me 3. So it's like they do it for a little bit, and then Max is like, I can't do this anymore. So they go back downstairs. There's a lot of like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? Okay.
And they talk about using the mirror to prank people.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that. So Wednesday, Zach comes over because they want to scare the ever-living bejesus out of him. And that's when they're sitting at the table, and Zach's mom is just like, not Zach's mom, but Max's mom is looking at Zach, and she's like, I don't like your haircut. These new kids today and their weird haircuts. What did your mother think?
You kids and your buzz cuts. Where did you get that haircut? My mom asked Zach. She walked around the table, staring at Zach's head, frowning. I could tell she hated it. At Quick Cuts, Zach told her after swallowing a mouthful of peanut butter and jelly. You know, at the mall. Is Quick Cuts a real chain? Is this a product placement?
No, I think there's Super Cuts. But I'm just thinking because when I was like a teenager, I didn't have a Skrillex haircut, but I did have a physical mohawk. I have to.
Oh,
I think I don't have
so edgy.
I shave my head all the time now, but if I could find a photo of it, because I think I've destroyed all of my teenage photos.
I used to shave the back of my head, so I had it real short at the back, and then it was like angled at the front. It was sort of like Ghost in the Shell haircut.
Okay, like very like. Oh yeah, I can see that.
But I got sick of having to maintain that, so I've just been growing it out ever since.
Yeah, but for me, it was just like this fat white kid with like this edgy mohawk.
The edgelord.
Yeah, no, it's like the president of the anime club type of edgelord.
Oh, amazing.
Listening to nothing but Metallica, Slayer, and Megadeth. I'm sorry, I'm having like weird like high school flashbacks. It scares me. Much as like they go upstairs, but before they do, Max's excuse is, "Hey, Mom, there's some of these awesome magazines upstairs." And like my favorite line is actually this line, just because she looks at him weirdly, and she says, "Have fun, guys. Don't get too dirty up there." I'm like, what the hell am I reading? Because she knows that's where Dad keeps his magazines.
Oh, that's where Dad keeps his girly pictures.
Don't go up in the attic. That's where Dad keeps his magazines.
That's where he keeps his titty mags. Every euphemism for porn is funny to me. Like, girly magazines, titty magazines.
His Spank Bank material.
Special magazines.
But yeah, so they try to go because they have these funny magazines. They do it in quotation marks too, so it's like, yeah, they're looking at porn. Their mom's like, okay, don't get too dirty up there.
Invisible porn. You ever seen the show Being Human?
Yeah.
You know how they find that like vampire like porn DVD, and it's like because vampires don't show up on camera, it's basically invisible porn.
Oh, god damn it. So they go up, they do it. Zack gets kind of spooked that, Max is invisible. And he's like, oh my god, radical! Like, let me do this. And he does it. And they do it for like 6 or 7 minutes. But every time they try to do it, it gets a lot harder and harder to come back. Oh, does it get harder and harder to come back?
They have a bit of fun with the mirror. It's not just them. It's sort of like the way we're describing it sort of sounds like they're screwing around in the attic, just like doing nothing up there and just being invisible for the sake of being invisible.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they're doing.
But they
don't do anything. Like later on, like halfway down the book, like maybe we should go outside and prank people. My god,
they don't. I mean, it would have been a better book if they had.
Yeah, well, they do it once. They mess with somebody. And exactly, you know what Zack's brilliant idea is? What he wants to do with this invisibility power, Meg?
What?
So, like, later on, like, when they talk to, like, Aaron and April, Zack's like, it was totally awesome. I want to get invisible again before school on Monday and go and spy in the girls' locker room.
Okay, what would you do if you had this ability? If you had an invisible mirror, what would you do? What prank would you pull?
Prank? I just rob banks all day.
How would you rob the bank, though? Being invisible doesn't mean you can get into the bank. You would have to, like, go to the bank and then find the vault and then, like, wait for somebody to open the vault and then, like, jump in there real quick. And then you'd have to wait for them to let you back out again because you can't walk through walls.
Actually, you know what, Meg? You know what I would do? I would make a bunch of, like, spooky video. I'd set up a video camera and be, like, actual ghost caught footage. And be like,
oh, man.
Ooh, spooky. And, like, make things, like, levitate and stuff. And then, like, sell it to, like, ghost adventures or, like, travel shows.
Yes.
I'd make so much bank.
If I was invisible, I would definitely, like, go up behind people and, like, pull their hair. And then they'd be like, who did that? I would make the ghost videos too. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say the same thing. So I just came up with the second thing that I'd do, which would be just like drive people insane.
It would either
slowly.
be that or be like, hey, shadow government, I have this mirror that turns people invisible. If you don't shoot me, I can give it to you.
It's funny because when you say shadow government, that means something very sinister. But in Australia, like the opposing party is literally called the shadow government. So Lefty disappears. For real. Yeah, for like, really real.
He goes there for really real, and he's like gone for a very long time because this is where the most meta thing happens. Max's grandparents come home, and the nicknames he gives his grandparents are the nicknames I have for my grandparents.
What? Well, my uncle was in the last book, so it's only fair that your grandparents be in this book.
It's like really weird because they act like my grandparents, and it's like I call my grandfather Poppy, and they call him Poppy, and I'm like, that is really weird, and I'm like, this book is scaring. Like R.L. Stine is now like, he knew me in the future and wrote me in the past. It's like he's trying to tell me a message.
Now you know how it feels. Because last week, there was a character whose name was Malloy and who was exactly like my maternal uncle.
Well, this is scary because, like, R.L. Stine, do you know me? Do I need to save the future? He knows us. It's Terminator. He's trying to tell us the machines are going to...
That's why there's so many Terminator references. It's a message to us specifically, but mostly you, Zach.
What's that? You want me to shoot Stephen King?
So, Zack gets stuck invisible, too.
Well, everyone gets stuck invisible. But
everyone gets stuck invisible, and that's when they find out about the mirror dimension.
Kind of like Zack. I mean, Max doesn't want to go back in there because, the chain had broken. He got stuck there once. He really doesn't want to go. But he's like, fine, I'll go with this one last time, and I'm going to beat your guys' record of, like, 10 minutes or whatever the hell. Like, something's off the first time, like, both Zack and April go in. Like, he can't quite place. He's like, hey, Zack, why is your buzz cut on the left side instead of the right side? Did you shave your head again?
Oh, yes. Yes. Did you change your hair in, like, the 3 minutes that you were gone? Does the mirror dimension have a quick cuts?
Yeah, no, it's like a jump cut.
That's what you call it when you. Oh my god, when your haircut changes suddenly. That's called a jump cut. That's what that style's called.
That's funny.
Yeah, I gave you a proper laugh there.
But okay, like then Max figures out, oh my god, everyone's in this weird like mirror dimension because he got sucked into the mirror. Bum bum bum. Like this sounds like really disjointed, but this is actually what happens in this book.
Yeah, it's a lot of we're gonna be invisible, and now we're invisible, and now we're not invisible, and now we're gonna be invisible again.
Like this is like sounding like really disjointed. I'm so sorry, guys, but this is this entire book, and like we try to figure out like a way to make this sound interesting. Except, hey guys, you guys want to get invisible? Nah. Hey, you guys want to get invisible? Yeah, let's beat this record. It's
so they find out that what's been happening is that like the more invisible the more times they become invisible, the stronger their like mirror selves get. And they're being replaced by their mirror selves, which is why Zach's haircut is on the wrong side.
And now Max's mirror version is trying to get him because he wants like the real Max to be his reflection.
Yeah.
Which I swear to God, there's an R.L. Stine short story which has the exact same premise.
There's a Deep Dark Fears comic that's like, I worry that my reflection is copying all of my expressions so that when it wants to, it can finally perfectly mimic me and come out of the mirror, and then I'll be the reflection.
That's what kind of happens here, and like the synth music plays is like Max is trying to get out of like the mirror dimension, and he's just about to get out when like the Nega Zack, I keep Zack and Max, whatever.
The dark, you're projecting onto this main character.
Yeah, the Nega Max grabs him, and he's about to be pushed out of the mirror when Lefty throws a curveball and breaks that freaking mirror. And,
yes.
And because Lefty has his ADHD powers have been used for good. So what happens is Max is out. Zach and April are also out of the real ones out of the mirror. And they're like, yeah, we did it. We're never going to come to this mirror again. Cuts to a couple days later when Max and Lefty are playing catch, Meg. They're throwing the ball back and forth. Back and forth.
What hand does he throw it with? What hand?
Well, they're not going to be calling him Lefty much longer because he's throwing it right-handed.
Now I love this ending. Honestly, this is a great twist ending. It is very like, it's a like top tier Goosebumps ending, like a very classic, very small little detail that reveals that it's not okay.
No, it's like the great like Twilightian twist.
Yeah, it's a very Twilight Zone-y ending. Or like, no. I gaped open mouth as the ball shot past me. I didn't even try to catch it. I couldn't move. I could only stare in horror. My brother was throwing right-handed.
I love that. Okay, I kind of thought that ending was really good because the entire time it's like that very small detail, though it's kind of like thrown in your face.
Yeah, it's a lot like it's a lot like in the first Series of Unfortunate Events book where they make a big deal out of Violet being right-handed.
Yeah, and then it pays off at the end.
That pays off at the end. Handedness is a good plot twist in kids' books, as we've learned today.
Well, because kids don't really have like an identity or personality until like they become teenagers.
I mean,
so you get what I'm trying to say is like you add like distinct things like, hey, she was left-handed, or like she had braces.
Yeah,
for like
that's
writing.
true.
I think I should say as writing a kid's book, not as like a kid himself, because all kids are different.
Yes, that's true. So unfortunately, my copy of the book does not have that like fun facts section at the back this time around for some reason.
The fun fact of this is that there were no mirrors were harmed in the making of this book. I thought was it like R.L. Stine was like walking around his house like, a spooky mirror would be a good book.
Yeah. I really like, the execution of this is a bit slow, but I really like the plot because, as I said, I love stories that are like, here's an artifact, it gives you a power, but at a horrible cost to you personally.
Yeah, because that's kind of the hard part about this book, and it's a really hard book to review. It's much easier to read because it's pretty much repetition.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a quick little breeze through it,
Like I said, it's like the book is basically like, hey, you guys want to get invisible? Nah, how about now? Sure, let's beat our record. Yeah, like that's...
Let's be invisible. Let's hold stuff and pretend it's floating.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like to go out and do spooky stuff and do pranks, this book would have been much easier to like talk about.
Have you ever seen that episode of The X-Files with the genie? They find a genie rolled up in a rug and the guy wishes to be invisible and he gets hit by a car?
Yeah. Is it also like the one about the guy in the shadow? Like if his shadow touches people, they like explode?
With Tony Shalhoub as the guy.
As the guy.
Yeah.
Like there's so many great episodes of The X-Files. Did you ever see the one with Jack Black? Where it's his friend.
Yes, the Darren.
Yeah, the guy has electricity powers. Like he can. Like,
yeah, he's got lightning powers, and he loves video games.
The weird thing about X-Files is it's so good, and yet it's not dated, which is the weird thing.
I mean, it's mostly good. There are some really crappy X-Files episodes, but on the whole, it's a great show. Similarly to Goosebumps, the TV show had some good episodes and some bad episodes. This is a very tangenty episode, because what can you talk about with this book? I mean, the mirror makes them invisible.
Yeah, no, I think what we could do for this is, what would you have done differently with this? Because I feel like if they were to go out and do pranks, and like, as they're doing it, they're slowly like losing, like they're fading into nothingness.
Like, if I was going to write this book, first of all, I would have had them doing pranks. I would have had them like doing things that would have gotten them into trouble if they hadn't been invisible. And to like... Because what they're doing doesn't really justify them going back to the mirror again and again, because they're just kind of screwing around in the attic. But if they were actually like getting some use out of being invisible, then I could believe them going back again and again, even though it makes you feel a little sick every time you do it. And I think it would be cool if they had like gone to school and like turned invisible at school, turned invisible in front of their parents, and not been able to control it. I think that would have been really cool. There's a lot of invisibility is a great plot device, which is why the ring in Lord of the Rings is so cool.
Yes, not because it's pure evil, but there's so much like power with being invisible, being like the fly on the wall. Just be like, hey CIA, do you need someone to like spy on Fidel Castro? I can do it, 10 million, and they'd be like, that seems reasonable. How long are you gonna be there? Give or take 3 weeks. Okay. That's fine. We'll have that 3 mil.
In a lot of ways, it's like one of the top powers. Like one of the top superpowers, because you can do a lot.
Well, actually, Meg, what is like your ideal superpower? What would you want to have?
Shape-shifting. That's sort of like being able to turn invisible.
Oh, that's a good one.
Without actually going invisible, because you can make yourself look so different that you can like disorient people. And be like, and they wouldn't even know that you're there because you're somebody else or something else.
It'd be so amazing also for cosplaying.
Oh man, like I never have to spend any money on makeup ever again.
You just be like, oh no, yes. I'm gonna be late for work. Bing! Makeup's perfect, on point.
Eyeliner on fleek, whatever the kids are saying. And also you could like get into places because you could be like, oh yes, I work here. Oh yes, I am the Prime Minister. Oh, also, my second ideal superpower is being able to walk through walls, because having, like, the ADHD hell brain that I do, I am constantly forgetting my keys.
Oh, that's totally me. Actually, if I had to pick a power, I think it would have to either be, like, pyrokinesis or maybe actually just regular, like, telekinesis, because there's so much potential. Just because, like, okay, thinking about me being a lazy fat ass, like, shit, I need to get some food and just like open it up with my mind, and then the food just floats towards me while I'm working. Or like I'm trying to drink coffee. Oh no, my coffee's cold now from editing. Bing! All the coffee's warm. I would totally use these powers for good. Like Uncle Ben would eat my heart out because I'm not going to be using these powers.
I would never use my powers for anything, because it's just like I would be using my powers to do things that are like totally mundane and stupid.
Just imagine oh no, it's really cold tonight. You just like turn up, you like physically like turn up the atmosphere's degrees in your room. Like, it's quite nice. Oh my god, I don't have to pay for my heating bills anymore.
Perfect.
Oh god.
Perfect. Why don't we have superpowers in real life? Get on it, science. Get on it, science.
I feel like it happens and then we just end up like have you ever read The Boys?
No.
It's a comic book. It's like super like realistic. Super like what would actually happen. Like the first panel of the comic is this guy's playing with his girlfriend or his wife. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've read it. And this guy with like super speed just whizzes by, and there's a shockwave. And the next panel, He's just holding her arms. So, like, I can see, like, the drawbacks of science has gone too far.
That's very true.
So, Meg, we're going to actually be reading a Fear Street book. It actually says Fear Street on this book. And we're going to be reading the first one in the Fear Park series, The First Scream.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
This is the part of the episode, guys, where we read from 101 Silly Monster Jokes by Jovial Bob Stein. What do you get when King Kong walks through your vegetable garden? Squash! So, Meg, where can they find you?
They can find me at Meg Chuden on Twitter. That's at MEGTUTEN. You can also find me at sodasodabanana.tumblr.com.
If you want to find me, you have to put a light in the sky. No, you can't do that. You won't be able to see with the clouds. If you want to find me, you can find me at Suda41. If you want to follow our show on Twitter, it's at Night Fear Street. If you want to email our show and send us spooky messages, what is your guys' favorite superpower? You can send that to nightmareonfearstreet@gmail.com. If you want to help us fund breaking more mirrors or giving government secrets to the shadow governments, you can Patreon us at patreon.com/nightmareonfearstreet. If you want to send us a little spooky review, you can send that just on our show on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. If you guys want to send a little review of what you would actually do with this book, we'd really appreciate it. Well, I'm Zach.
And I'm Meg.
And stay spooky. Hi, it was me the entire time, nigga Zach.
Oh no, now we gotta fight you.
No, Bigfoot's gonna catch his hands.
Oh no, capoeira time.